Hi everyone, welcome back to Dalra Models. As you can probably see, I'm in the middle of doing the decal application on my RC211V motorbike model. So I've applied a couple of decals already, as you can probably see on the camera. So the first one I've done is this one at the back here, which took a little bit of figuring out where to actually apply it, looking at some photographs, because the instructions are a little bit vague, but it also wants to overlap the two pieces. So as you can see, I've put them together and applied the decal, and then I've got my knife with a fresh blade in it, cut down where the joint is so that I can separate them without any problem. So when it comes to assembly, it's not going to be a problem. It means that I can clear coat them and work with them and everything. I've also applied the first one on the nose section and started on the side fairing. And what I've noticed is where the decal applies, to position it right, there's a bit of an overlap. And looking at my reference photos again, I've realised that it's actually part of that nose cone. So you can see there that there's an orange bit on that corner. So what I did was I mocked it up like that while I applied it. Again, used my knife to cut down the joint, and then applied the decal on there as well. So I'm just waiting for the other one now. I've soaked it in water. I've also noticed with these decals that I don't know whether it's got a problem or something, but half of that, when I put it in water, absorbed the water and half of it didn't, which was quite odd. There's no signs of anything on the actual decal sheet, and it's doing what it needs to do, it's just doing it a bit slower. But as you can see, it's still got a bit to go. You've got lighter patches there, which means that the decal's still going to stick to the backing paper on there. You can see the white spots on the back of it as well. So just keep dunking it in the water and leave it there while that's sorting itself out. And at the moment I'm just using microset. I've not got to putting any microsol on yet. I'll do that once I've got the bulk of the application done on the decals. So that's actually two decals on there, the one for this side and one for that side. But when I'm applying them, I find it easier to do them together, because then I can make sure it's all lined up as it should be and it's all straight. If I was to do one side and then the other, I could find that one's slightly at that angle. Like if I put it into camera, yeah, I find that one's at that angle, and when I think it's straight, and when I come to do the other one, it'll overlap there. So by doing the two of them, I can manipulate them and make sure everything fits as it should do. So that's my plan. I've not done the fuel tank yet, so I'll put that over there out of the way a bit, move that one over and see where I'm at. So you can see that one's sliding around nicely, and that one's not ready to move yet, and it's still not fully absorbed the water into the backing paper. So you just need to leave it a little bit longer for that to sort itself out. But I've also found, I'll just show you the instructions while I'm waiting for that, that on here, that line there is the join line for this part to go under it. So there's going to be some overlap. So I've got the masking tape ready, so what I'll do when I come to that is mask it off, use the masking tape to hold it in, use the masking tape to hold that in place while I apply that decal, and then it'll mean that I'm all straight and where it needs to be, get it all lined up and everything. So they're a little bit fiddly and complicated, which I was half expecting with this livery, with this scheme that we've got. There we go. That one's moving now. So I'll get some microset, put some on there and some on there, and then apply my decals. Get rid of the number, don't want that on there. That one goes in there. Get rid of that number as well. And that one goes on there. So, like I said, now I can start to manipulate them and work out how exactly they go. And again, I'm using my photographs that I've got on the screen next to me to position them, and they're fairly close up there, like that. So I'm going to get a bit of tissue, and I know some people like to get that number stuck on my finger. Some people like to use cotton buds for this, but I prefer to use tissue. I find the cotton buds sometimes can have bits come off them. I just want to absorb the bulk of the moisture off there. You can see that they've moved as I was doing that, but it's not a problem because there's still plenty there. So just make sure that they're going to push down properly. So now that I'm at that point, I'll get my hairdryer all ready and start applying some heat. And you just want to get it just so that it's removing some of the moisture from the decal and start to get it to sit. But where you've got that bit there, as you can possibly see here, there is there's an air pocket there which we want to remove. So use your brush, just squeeze it out, and you can manipulate the decal where you need to get any moisture out of there. And the same with this one, which is a bit more noticeable because you've got this crease there. So what we want to do is just squeeze any moisture from underneath, and you've got big air pocket just here. So gently tease out. You can see that corner there of the ass is coming up there. So we need to get all of that out and push it down. So keep applying this with the microset and applying heat, and that will start to settle down. So a bit more heat on it. You can see that I'm moving the hairdryer around as I do that, so it's spreading heat around. And now you can see I'm starting to get that laying down a bit now. So this is how you work with complicated areas. So again, keep working at it like this. Keep applying heat to it and manipulating it with the brush to get it into into the recess, get any air pockets out, get any moisture out that's under there, because that's what will cause problems down the line. It'll be noticeable when you've got the clear coat on that you've got these air pockets underneath that you will see them at that point. So that's looking fairly good now on that one. So you can see it's conformed to that shape quite nicely now. So what they've done on the fuel tank is giving you two different decal parts. So you've got this one here and then that one there. So that one there sits on top with that hole over the petrol cap, and then that other one sits inside that recess there. So you don't have to try and get it manipulated in that. So I'm going to go off camera for a little bit, do a little bit more, and then I'll come back on when I've got something more to show you. Right, I've got a few more decals soaking now, so I'm ready to show you a bit more. So as I was saying a second ago, what I've done is put the masking tape on there, so when I put that where it needs to be, I can then push the masking tape up behind it, and then I can apply the decal over that as to where it wants to be. So the first thing I want to do is get some microsol and run it over the area that I want it. And I thought this decal was ready, but I think I've got the same problem that I was having with the other one, where part of the backing paper is free and part of it's not, and what I don't want to do is rip it. Just going to carefully prise that off. There you go. So work out where that wants to go. It's going to be roughly there. And again, make sure you use your reference photos that you've got. Just going to put my finger behind that to give it a bit of support. Yeah, use your reference photos you've got as well as the instruction sheet to make sure that you've got it exactly where it should be. So, apply some cleats. Start softening it up a bit. That wants to yeah. I'm just going to check that one as well, which wants to go underneath at the bottom of this. So put some of that on there, and then I'd normally just slide this on with my finger, but because of holding the part, I'm using my tweezers and it makes it a little bit more difficult. So it means that I can put that and line it up where it should be. So I'm going to get my tissue again and then just squeeze out the bulk of the moisture again from underneath. And then I'll apply more heat. So you can see it's already starting to settle down a bit. So get the heat into it, get it start settling down where it needs to be. Getting the air pockets out again, and you can see it's a little bit difficult there due to the split of parts, but it's not too much of a problem. We can we'll sort it. So just keep going over it, push the air out, get it settled down, apply some heat, and repeat. So I'm just showing you this one as something that's a bit more complicated. And what I'm going to do now, if I don't keep knocking the camera, is get my knife and score it along that line. I'm just going to do that back one. So then I can move that off the masking tape and get rid of that, because they're now where I want them to be, so I don't have to worry about them moving. So I'm going to put that over to the back, and I'll put that over at the back as well, so that they're not going to get knocked, and then I'll move on to the next bit. So the other one I was going to do now is this corner of this back piece of the rear part of the tail. So and your micro set again, and I can position that where I want it, which this one seems to actually fit better than the other side, which is good. Wants to have enough of an overlap that that goes down there and sits like that. So that's about right. So get my tissue, wipe the excess away, and then apply some heat. What the heat does is it softens up the decal so that it's easy to manipulate. So I can now see where I'm at. Make sure that I get the decal exactly where I want it. You see, I'm rolling the brush over that to get it to sit where I want it. Get the seat sat down nicely, and the same at the back there. Same again with the boot. And if you do this with the micro set and get it exactly where you want it first, then you're not going to have any problems when it comes to putting the microsol on. If you put the microsol on too early and you've got air pockets underneath, then they're not necessarily going to be easy to do anything about. But by laying them down and just using the micro set to start with, you shouldn't have any problems with it. So put some on here, and then I can put that on there, and the middle of that can line up with where the petrol cap will be, like that, and then I can manipulate that, and while it's wet, it's quite easy to move around. So do all of this while it's wet, and even though the paintwork is matte, it doesn't matter because it's wet enough that it all slides around on. get that where we want it, get rid of the excess moisture, and then apply some microset to it and apply some heat and just see where we're at. So there's a crease on either side of this which I need to make sure I get the moisture out of and any air out of. You can see it's starting to show there. So while that's doing that, I'm going to look at doing the middle part. So I'm just going to check my photos again just to make sure I get that where it should be. If it shows me on that one. Knocking the camera again, sorry about that. So put some microset under there so I can manipulate it again. So it looks like it's all creasing up on the top there. I don't know how well that's coming out on camera, but that won't be a problem once we work with it. I want that arrow straight. It wants to be straight down. I've got a reference point there I'm using to make sure it's centered. So that looks about right, so I'll just apply a bit more of that on top and then apply some more heat. Now that complicated curve, I should be able to start manipulating to get the gaps out. As you can see there, that's starting to lay down nicely. So I'm going to put that to one side again while I come back to this one. And what I'm going to do is get my knife and follow the line down where that joint is, and then hopefully I should be able to separate it like that. And then when it's all together, you can barely even see there's a joint there, but then obviously when you pull it apart, it means that they can be clear coated and finished off and worked with everything else. So I'm just going to keep going and working on these, and I'll show you when it's all done. Okay, so as you can see, these are pretty much done now. So just to show you, there's all laid down nicely for the most part. There's a couple of lines in there which have come through from the plastic, which I'm not quite sure where they've come from because they weren't there before, but once it's clear coated and flattened back and everything, they'll won't really be visible. So and as you can see on these are all flattened down, gone nicely around the edges. So after the last part of the video that I was showing you, where I was going over with the microset, once I'd finished all of that, I then went over with microsol and more heat and kept going over it, heat, microsol with the brush, just until it's got that painted on look, which you can see there, certainly around this edge here and again down there. Same on that one, sort of complicated shape there for that decal to go round, but it's done okay. It's all gone down nicely. And the same with doing these parts with the knife, gone round, carefully made sure that they're where they need to be, so they all line up when it's all assembled. One thing I did notice, I showed you on the previous video that I put magnets in there, so I filled the screw holes, and what they've done with the decals is left holes here and here for the screws, which I'm not overly happy about, because I've now got round circles in there, which I don't really want. But again, you can see on there how it all lines up. Same on the other side. So it's all ready for being clear coated now. So I'm happy with that. Same on the tank. Got everything on there that needs to be on there and all lined up. That's all gone to the shape that it needs to be. So overall I'm happy with them. So like I said, ready for clear coat, which I'll be using the Zero Paints Diamond 2K clear for, and then I'll get it flattened off and polished up. So the next video is going to be probably final assembly of putting everything together. So in prep for that, I've gone around, got all my parts done. So I've got this piece that I just need to finish off with the decal to get that clear coated, and there's a logo that goes on there. And I've also done this part of the seat base. I used the same process that I showed you in this video. So 2 pieces of carbon fibre, one on this side and one on that side, and you can see in the join in the middle where the seat will go why I couldn't get away with just using one piece, because it's not going to lie flat enough to get around the shapes on that. So lots of microset, lots of heat, lots of microsol to get it looking like that. So again, that's going to get clear coated with these pieces, and then I'll be pretty much done with it. So I'll see you in the next video. So thank you for watching this one, and I hope you enjoyed it.